Why did they do that?
I got the whole pack.
I don't know.
I'll call the East Cocalico Township Supervisor meeting to order for December 5th. Everybody please rise and pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Be pleased turn off your cell phones. First order of business, minutes for approval for our meeting November 21st. Any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Police Department, Chief.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To keep you up on the hiring process, we have, it's 5 people have returned on the website for police apps. I have sent out the more in-depth application to those individuals, and several people came into the station to get applications. So as of right now, we have 3 of the more in-depth applications returned. They're due by December 12th, so I'm expecting more coming in within this upcoming week. So we'll give the rest of my report next week, or next meeting, I'm sorry. But I will talk about, if it's all right, the pension meeting we had with the pension group and Gerard. And I have good news to report. The beginning balance year to date was $5,367,776. The gain was $1,005,150, and that's just year to date. And then the additions from the state aid, the MMO, and the officer contributions was $630,000. So as of 11/29. The pension fund stands at $7,002,980, which is an 18% increase year to date. So these folks are doing a phenomenal job, if you ask me, on our investments. One of the things that they talked about and that had been discussed at the previous pension meeting was changing the percent interest that's figured into the MMO, or used to calculate the MMO. And what I mean by that is principal, for some reason, took it from 6.34, I think, percent, or 6.35, took it down to 6%, saying that that was their expectations for returns. Gerard gave us 3 scenarios: keeping it at 6, taking it to 6.25, or taking it to 6.5. They recommended taking it to 6.5. By doing that and putting the salary scale at 3.5%, you go down the chart and you look, it could potentially save the township approximately $62,000 a year on the MMO. I was hoping that we could do this for next year's MMO, but that's not how it calculates out, how it works. So it would have to be adopted and then put into place for the year 2021. But their recommendation would be to change that to the 6.5% in a preparation for next year. I asked why they wouldn't take it back to or up to 7%, because they said some plans are there. And they said you have to be very careful about moving that much of a percent point in regards to this. So they said the responsible thing to do would be to take it to 6.5. They also talked about a potential scenario 4 in reference to when they get more information back from their actuarials, talking about potentially saving quite a bit more money for the future. They didn't want to come out and give an actual figure because they hadn't gotten that information back yet. I saw Jill's here. Jill attended the meeting as part of the group, and I didn't know if she had anything or any other input to what I was saying.
Yeah, I agree with Bill with scenario 3, increasing the interest to 6.5%. While that's still very conservative, it's, we are one of the lowest for that type of a rate. So going up there, that would be actually very beneficial, and it wouldn't increase any additional risk to the pension plan. And also with the salary scale going to 3.5%, that would also be well within the range and still be conservative. I looked up, found a couple reports based in Lancaster County, and we're one of the most conservative on both of those rates. So going up to 6.5%, we're just kind of getting more in line with what some of the other plans that are comparable to us.
I mean, if you want to make a motion, that's what the group recommends that happens, so we can contact Gerard and have them change that, so it's done. So that would be the motion I would request, was change the scenario, what they refer to as scenario 3.
Okay. Will the motion be acknowledged, the no cost of living adjustment? Is that the one?
No, that's different. That's what I was going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
But this is just for the variable liable runs and the interest, moving it from the 6% that it is in that, or is at now, to 6.5%.
So the motion would be
The motion would be change the various liability runs, as you said, from the interest rate from 6% to 6.5%.
Right,
And
that'll be as of January 1, 2019.
No.
No, it'll be 2020.
I
think that was a typo at the time of this.
Yeah, it's 2020 because it'll take effect in 2021.
Correct. Yeah.
When they do their, then.
Right. Because the actuary report is done every 2 years,
Right.
so it's being done basically now, so this won't take effect until the next report.
And it's looking back too, not looking forward.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Now, in reference to the other thing, in reference to the cost of living, that they brought up a fact that I think has to be investigated further by the board, by the pension committee. And we need to wait to get information back from their actuarial list and different scenarios that they can come up with. But they said there is potential to change the language in the pension plan/ordinance in reference to requirements that would be made, or a possibility. They basically changing the word from shall to may. But I think that would be something that would be, it would be wise to consult, everyone's attorney, just to make sure everybody's doing right, because this would be an ordinance type thing. But that could potentially save, the potential would be approximately $100,000. They don't want to give a complete figure, but when we talked about it, it could be there. So that would be quite an additional savings on the MMO.
So you still have this other motion?
Yeah, that's for you, gentlemen, to decide whether to do a cost of living rate.
Okay, every year we have the possibility of doing a cost of living amendment to the pension or not. The motion is to acknowledge the no cost of living adjustment for COLA for 2020 police pension plan year, the Gerard police pension. I'll make that motion.
I'll second the same.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. If our pension plan was fully funded, then we would do it, but it's not fully funded, so it doesn't physically make sense to do it. Okay. Any questions of the chief? Okay, thank you, chief. No problem.
Thank you.
Tony?
What do you want to do, the slide letter agreement there?
Oh, okay.
2025? This is extending their collective bargaining agreement.
It's extending the contract for 2025 cost of living rates would be 2.75 in 23 and 24, and 3% in 25. It also raises their, what they pay for healthcare.
Contributions.
And contributions would go up too. So what's the wish of the board? Be 3 years.
That's 3 years.
Yeah, it's a 3 years. Would be.
Yeah, I'd like.
Okay, the
I'll
motion be,
make that motion.
okay. Motion be to conditionally approve the Police Pension Officers Association side letter agreement for extension to the year 2025, providing all the items within said agreement conform to the satisfaction of the Board of Supervisors, the Township Manager, and the Financial Administrator. You'll make that
I'll
motion?
make that motion.
And I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Now, zoning officer.
Yes, everybody, as usual, I'll have my full report after the next meeting. But I'm open to any questions if you have any concerns or questions concerning the zoning department. Another busy month.
More new homes.
More new homes and Members First is just about ready to start final grading on their site. If you've gone by there, they've got the parking lot area and all that. They're moving along very well.
Any questions of the zoning officer? Thank you, Tony.
Oh,
Oh, sorry. Yes, June.
June Kinback, Rose Hill. Once again, the property on the corner of Wabash and 272 were burning this past Saturday. I took pictures of it.
Across from the sign shop on that
Yep.
farm property. Okay.
Do they get, explain to me how they would get a permit? Why would the permit, is the permit for a certain day? Is it for a week? Is it for whenever they feel like burning?
Well, first of all, we don't issue permits for burning unless it's an ag property and they want to burn off a large area as a fence row. And the fire official would have the first call on that. Now, I have no information from the fire official that he gave any permission to anybody to burn there. And the last time you had mentioned it, I looked into it, and they didn't, and I sent them a letter. Now, it is not zoned ag, but it is a farm property and has been used, a small portion of it, over the years. As far as burning now, were they burning, what were they burning? Did you see what they were burning?
I have pictures of it on my phone.
All right, I'll get with you
All
after
right.
the meeting. I'd like to see them and make some copies because you can't burn trash, dimensional lumber, anything like that in the town.
It was like a bonfire, kind of.
Okay, well, you know, some farmers will pile up the corn shocks and they'll burn off some of those, but obviously that's not what you're talking about.
No.
Okay, we'll get together after the meeting this week and show me what they have. I'll send a notice of violation to the property owner, making them aware they can't be burning, period.
I would appreciate that. I didn't call the police this time because it was a Saturday again. I would have gotten somebody down
Was it
Lancaster that wouldn't
Saturday?
know where East Cocalico is, and,
This past Saturday, June.
yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions of the zoning officer? Thank you, Jim. Okay, roadmaster.
Good evening.
Anything, Russ?
This past month, we filled in a couple of road edges that were low. We also scraped a couple of the road edges where we still had water ponding. Prior to winter, we don't want water sitting on the roads. We cleaned up all the trucks and tools associated with blacktopping for the year. We mounted the spreaders on the trucks, gave them a run through. We also mounted all the trucks to their plows. We only had one hose that went bad. Fixed that. We went through all the tire chains. We also made any repairs needed. We hauled in a fresh pile of coal patch for potholes. Hopefully we don't need too much this year. We assisted the water authority on a leak that they had right at their driveway to their shop. We milled the road up for them. That's a lot easier than them jackhammering it. So we helped them out there. We rented the bucket truck to Denver Borough for their street lights. I had a driver and the truck over there for a little over 2 hours. We dropped off the crack sealer at US Municipal. If you remember, we made a purchase last year because our heated hose was leaking. Well, we got a new one, put it on, and it leaked again. Got a second one, put it on, fired the machine up at the end of crack sealing at the beginning of this year. We had no leaks in it, so we thought problem solved. We were done, we weren't crack sealing until fall weather. We got that thing out, we fired it up, same spot, it started leaking. Now this is a contained area on this hose where the leak's coming from. So I contacted US Municipal. They gave me permission to start taking it apart to see if we could figure out what it is. And it looked to me like somewhere along the process, their machinery wasn't putting the nuts and bolts on correctly, and they were stripping them as they were doing it. So US Municipal said to bring the machine down, they'll strip it, see if they can find out. And when they did take it apart, they found all kinds of metal shavings in the wand. So they said they will call the Marathon, who's out of Canada. They took a whole bunch of pictures to show Marathon what the inside of the hose is, that they might have an issue with their manufacturing of the equipment. I'm hoping that when we got the hose, it took us about 2 weeks. So I'm hoping in another week, maybe 2, they'll have a new wand, no leaks, and we can get that buggy out on the road and start filling some of our cracks in. We put up the Christmas tree fence. We fixed the split rail fence at the pool. We picked up the plow for the new truck. The new truck is tentatively scheduled to be delivered next Tuesday. The truck was up doing quality control at 5 stars, and they found a little thing that EM Kutz skipped. So they said they would do it. EM Kutz said no, bring the truck back to us. So the truck goes down to EM Kutz Friday. We're hoping, the dealer's hoping that Monday they have the truck done and he'll drop it off with us on Tuesday. We picked up our traffic calming signs for North Reamstown Road. We're in the process of putting them together. I had Penny out today to show her the 2 locations I'm looking to place the signs along North Reamstown Road. They're solar powered, so the one side ain't bad, but the other side basically is a whole bunch of houses, and to find an opening in them houses that the sign will be able to get enough sun. So I showed her the 2 spots I was looking at. She agreed to them, so we'll work on doing a PA1 call, make sure there's nothing in where we're going to drive those signs into them, and hopefully we'll have them up and running by the end of next week. Other than that, it's just the normal maintenance on the equipment. We chasing after the leaves all over the drains. They're almost all down, and working on signs. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions of the roadmaster? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Chris.
Treasurer's report.
Okay. This is the shortest one I've seen in a long, long time. Total general fund, $23,124.52. Questions? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second the motion. Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those in the motion carried. Thank you. Land planning.
All right, so only one item on my list for tonight is the Hoffman Stormwater Management Plan. The subject property is at 500 Holtzman Road. It's a 5.9 acre property zone seeks conservation. The applicant is proposing a single-family house, driveway, and future shop. The project's current limit of disturbance exceeds 1 acre, which does require an NPDES permit. The overall stormwater management proposes a series of swales, underground infiltration beds, and a basin to address the stormwater volume peak rate reduction requirements. Tony and Brent from our office conducted a site review at the end of August. The applicant submitted a plan to us on November 13th. On the 25th, we sent a review letter out. Currently reviewed that. We're currently awaiting a response from the applicant and applicant consultant in response to a probable cost opinion. The applicant is still waiting a response from the Langston Conservation District relative to the updated NPDES permit submission. As a result of those items, we recommend the Board of Supervisors consider the following. I have a few motions here. First one is motion made to approve a waiver modification of section 185-14B4 of the Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to showing all physical features, including all trees greater than 6-inch diameter within 200 feet of the development site, and accept the existing physical features as identified and shown in the current plan.
Anybody here representing that plan?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Second motion will be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-27A1D6 of the Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to swale bottom width to flow depth ratio and authorize the swale grading as currently shown on the plan.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Third motion here would be to approve a waiver modification of section 185-14D2 of the Stormwater Management Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to the requirement for field run topography and authorize the use of prior field run survey data and the PA/SBA topo.
I'll make that motion.
Go ahead.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Fourth motion, to approve a waiver modification of section 185-14.C 9D of the Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to the requirement for tree fencing for tree protection zones and authorize alternate approaches to mark and respect the limits of disturbance.
I will make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Fifth motion here tonight, to approve a waiver modification of section 185-27A1D4 of the Stormwater Management and Earth Disturbance Ordinance related to swale side slopes and authorize the utilization of side slopes of 3-to-1 within certain swales.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Sixth motion here, now that we're done with the waiver and modifications, would be for the board to conditionally approve the Elliott Hoffman Stormwater Management Plan conditioned upon the applicant addressing all items outlined in the Tiger Engineering review email dated November 22nd, 2019, to the satisfaction of the township, township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor.
I will make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Next would be to authorize the Board of Supervisors to sign the Improvement Guarantee Agreement, IGA, for the Elliott Hoffman Stormwater Management Plan when signed by the applicant and provided in a form acceptable to the township solicitor, along with the required financial security in an amount acceptable to the township engineer and in a form acceptable to the township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
Okay, next would be for a motion to authorize the Board of Supervisors to sign the Stormwater Maintenance and Easement Agreement related to the Elliott Hoffman Stormwater Management Plan when executed by the applicant and submitted to the township in a form acceptable to the township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you.
And lastly, final motion for tonight would be to authorize signature of the Elliott Hoffman Stormwater Management Plan by the Board of Supervisors upon the applicant adequately resolving all conditions of plan approval to the satisfaction of the township zoning officer, township engineer, and township solicitor.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion
That
carried.
is all of my motions tonight.
Thank you very much. Okay. New Year's Eve, letter from the fireworks. Every year the fireworks has an entertainment and they lower the barrel. They like to have authorize the first block of North Reamstown Road approximately for 30 minutes blocked. We've done this for the last couple of years now.
It's from 11:45 to 12:15.
So the motion be to authorize the annual fireworks New Year's Eve event to close.
I see that.
I see that.
Yeah.
The first block of Reamstown Road for approximately 30 minutes from 11:45 to 12:15. What's the wish of the board?
I'll make that motion.
And I'll second that.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. MS4.
Yes. Currently working on the grant application for the stream bank restoration in the Greenstown Municipal Park, due December 20th, 2 weeks from tomorrow. And still waiting on a few items from land studies that we need to complete the application, but it's moving along.
Okay. Thank you. Anything
Thanks,
else?
Ken.
Thanks, Ken. I know that's a job and a half.
Yes. It's a good thing we have the 2 weeks.
Okay, new business. Dental and eyeglass insurance plan for 2020. Discuss and approve it.
This is the payment plan for the insurance for the dental United Concordia, option 5, and the dental, the vision plan, which is covered by Davis Life.
And both plans are through insurance, and it's more comprehensive than we do now, and it'll be a savings to the township by going to these insurance
Because it's
plans.
through the cooperative.
It'll be through the cooperative where we did our health insurance
Health
through.
insurance grant.
So the motion would be to adopt the Pennsylvania Municipal Insurance Cooperative United Concordia option 5 for dental, and Davis Vision Eye Care Frame option H for vision plan commencing January 1st, 2020. That'll be motion for approval.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Land study request for support. This is yearly, I think.
Yeah, the gentleman did this last year. Land Studies submitted a growing greener grant near assisting the Conservation Foundation of Lancaster County in the construction of the Cocalico Creek Headwaters Floodplain Restoration Project. The board supplied a support letter for them last year with their grant, and they're asking for that again. I have typed up a letter for you, so I'm asking for your authorization
Okay,
to support them.
Okay. Motion Land Study Incorporated in their DEP Growing Greener Grant application from the construction of the Cocalico Creek Headwater Floodplain Restoration Project. Letter of what? Support.
Yeah,
I'll make that motion.
and I think this is the one that's pretty tight timeline, right, Penny? That's
Yeah.
it for 20th or
Yes,
something like that?
we have a letter.
It's the same grant program that we're applying for.
Right.
Okay.
I'll second
Okay. Any comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Thank you. Managers report.
Well, I'll have a full report for you at our next meeting, as I normally do. The police pension plan review, Chief Kepley has already gone over that pretty much, but I do have from one of our residents, we all know Troy Texter. He does all of the landscaping out front, places all the flags, the flowers, and this year he went over and beyond, and he made this for the township. It's a crock. He made, it has the township building on it. And then he put every employee's name on the back of it. So, very heavy. He designed this himself, he did this himself,
It's very heavy.
Yeah, beautiful, eh?
and he's giving it to the township, and this is his request. He said it took some time for him to make this. And what he has in mind for the board to decide, I mean, he gave 3 options. He goes, it could be a special retirement gift from the employees to Mr. Doug Mackley. It could be a raffle to an employee at the holiday gathering at the year's end, or it could remain at the township. Hopefully, he did not forget anyone's name, and he really tried hard to get all the information correct. And he was very pleased with the way it turned out. So you have a decision to make on what you would like to do with this.
We'll sit on that.
Okay.
But I wish you would have been here tonight to thank you personally, because it's beautiful.
It really is nice.
It's a lot of
First I've seen it.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is very beautiful. And the landscaping around the township building, he did a wonderful job there too.
Yeah.
Whole year we've been doing it, you guys done a great job.
Very appreciative.
How long has he been doing that now?
Last 2-3
2
years.
years.
2 years or so, yeah.
Yeah, he makes the, you know, for Flag Day and for Veterans Day and he comes 4th of July, he comes in and he spends a lot of time here on his own. He really does. You can think what you want, but he goes above and beyond. He really does. And the place does look nice. It really does.
He pulled all the weeds out from here and planted, and got the plants and planted them, so, yeah.
Yeah, he does that on his own.
We really appreciate it.
It's pretty neat.
It is neat.
Okay.
Okay. Public comment that wasn't on the agenda. Please state your name.
Oh.
Yes, June.
Adamstown has 2 electric charging stations for vehicles, and they got that, from what I understand, through a grant. They didn't have to pay anything for it.
Yeah,
Did we entertain that at all?
we can look into it.
It'd probably be good right here by the thing that you're always charging.
And I'm not saying that's a bad idea, because it's a good idea, but there are some at the True Hill.
Yeah, True Hill has them.
And I think there are also some, but I don't propose people going on the UGI property, but for their employees, I know they have some right outside the building also. So we give out a few, but
Yeah.
Well, these 2 are right by the library, in the parking
Okay,
lot,
that'd
in
be
between the
the-
library and Adamstown Antique Mall.
Yeah.
from the borough.
There's 2 of them.
Putting one on Main Street, I think so.
Yeah,
Or
it's
that's
an-
what they've been
It's an
discussing.
interesting idea.
It's a good look. Thank you. We'll look
So you
into
want
it.
me to look into it?
Yeah, we'll look into it. Yeah, good idea.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Next supervisor meeting Thursday, December 19th at 7 here. Okay, motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
All right?
We're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.